Welcome back. I'm so excited to give this episode for you today. I have a wonderful guest on the show, Katrina Aronson. Katrina is a friend and expert in the field of neuromarketing. And as you'll hear, we're very in sync with all the things that we stand for, namely that everything is energy and how that plays out for you in your business, but also in your marketing. You'll hear that this is a theme that comes through strongly. But just before we get into the episode, I want to tell you that I'm hosting a free live training this Thursday, 17th of November, the first of its kind. And I cannot wait because I'm going to be diving into how you can 10x your business and your well-being without implementing any more strategy and without working any harder. In fact, working a lot less hard. So this is for you if you feel locked into what feels like an obsessive desire to work, but you'd like to be able to switch off, relax, and just trust yourself. It's for you if you spend every spare minute of your time working, and as a result, your house is probably a bit of a mess, you're not exercising as much as you like to, and you can't remember the last time you did anything just for you. It's also for you if you find that you're so up in your head, overthinking everything in your business, and you've heard that some people find it easy, and you're like, how the hell is that possible? Well, I want to invite you to join me in this masterclass where I'll be sharing with you exactly what you need to do to 10x your business and also your well-being, because when you're in a better place, of course, your business is going to be positively impacted. And how you can do this without working harder or even thinking about implementing any more strategy. Register now via the link in the show notes. Welcome to season 2 of the Bigger Than You podcast, your go-to weekly podcast that blends energetics and mindset to help you do whatever it takes to bring your vision to life whilst having fun on the way. I'm Jenna Holloway, your host and multi-award-winning intuitive hypnotherapist and mindset coach. My purpose is to help mission-led business owners and visionaries who want to inspire change by leading the way in a space that otherwise may feel unnerving and too difficult. This is Bigger Than You. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I have the lovely Katrina here today, and I will hand over straight to you, Katrina. Please introduce yourself.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super pumped. So my name's Katrina Aronson. I am not just a business coach. I am a marketing expert, and I focus on neuromarketing, which we will get into. And I am also a mom of 2. I find so much beautiful in the world when it comes to business, being an entrepreneur, and being a mom who does it all.
Amazing. What do you find the best thing about being a mom and a business owner, would you say?
Yeah. So I think mom is a part of who I am. I think business owner is such an integral part of me too. And I think being able to really show my children how to be different in the world and really have values that you tie back to your business. So my mission in life, what I do in life, is why I have a business, and my kids get to see that. So that is my favorite thing about what I do.
I love that so much. And we were in a mastermind together, and your energy stands out to me because you're just so calm. And I know that I watch your stories on Instagram, like one of my top people that I would watch. So it's like, it's about energy. And we'll get into this in terms of your marketing and how important it is. But just want to reflect back to you that your energy is so calm, and in the bluntest, most direct way, you've clearly got your shit together. So that's cool.
Well, I'm so glad that that's how you're reading it. I don't know if my kids would feel that, but thank you, Jenna. I appreciate that.
No, it's cool. It's really good. So today we're talking about bringing science into your marketing. So can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Wow, I feel like I could go on for days about this. So we obviously hear as business owners that marketing is super important. Of course it is. We need to have our messaging together, our website together. There's so many different elements to our marketing. But one of the most incredibly important pieces is for us to recognize that if we are only paying attention to what people are taking in on a very conscious level, then we're missing about 95% of the game. And we can go a little bit more into that. But in what I do, which is neuromarketing, which again is it's reading brain scans and really understanding not just what people say that they want, but what people actually want. And we know this from a lot of recent technology, being able to see in the brain where things are actually lighting up. So it's really cool, geeky stuff. But what we really need to take away from this is what people say and what people actually want and what makes them feel really good aren't necessarily things that line up. And that's not just because people are like big fat liars. It's because we don't actually know all the time. Like we may not have the language, or maybe we feel pressured. We don't want to say the actual thing. There's so many different reasons. So when we look at science and we're like, is it red or blue that make people excited? They may not know, but their brain knows, their subconscious knows. So what if we spoke to that part?
Oh, I love that so much, because I've never thought about it that way. What I teach is that our subconscious mind is governing everything, the way we react to situations, which is exactly what you just said, but I've never thought about it like that. So your subconscious mind is reacting to situations, making us feel certain things and making us say, think, and act a certain way. Like, it's our subconscious mind that is ruling the show all the time. But I've never thought about it in terms of marketing. And of course, people don't know why they think the way they think or how they feel the way they feel, because by definition, the subconscious is subconscious. So yeah, when we actually look at marketing from that perspective, it must be a game changer.
It is such a game changer. And when we can understand as business owners, and if you're a business owner, you are a marketer, right? So you have to be getting out there in some capacity and talking about what you do, sharing about what you do. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be jumping on video every single day. I know that terrifies a lot of people, but there's actually ways we can do this on a very subconscious level. And you're tapping into not just, hey, this is what I do. Hey, this is what I do, but this is how I can make you feel. And that is way more powerful than anything that we can say out loud, right? We are like creating a presence by not saying anything at all.
Wow. How do we do that?
So I just want to say there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different techniques that people use. I want to talk about one specifically because I think it's one of the easiest to implement across the board, but one definitely that we can all really resonate with. So I like to talk about the 5 senses because we all have them. We all know what it feels like when you smell something that maybe it's like fresh cut grass, something that reminds you of the beginning of summer or a really good time in your life. And you may not consciously even recognize because you're getting in your car, you're doing something and you're busy, but it puts you into a better mood. And you could, if you're paying attention, all of a sudden just be back in that place, be back in that memory. And there's suddenly like a skip in your step. You're making decisions that are just happier, right? Maybe you're speaking a little bit more. And when we can create that in our brands, literally by picking scents, so the smell, we are not just connecting to, oh, I like that smell. We're actually connecting to the limbic system in the brain, which is where emotions sit. So this is a shortcut to people's emotions, is what I'm saying. Yeah. If you have a smell connected to your brand, then you can literally make people happier. And when you make people happier, you're shortcutting to, oh, I really like that brand, right? I associate that smell with that brand.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And we process things. We can talk about all of the senses, but just to keep it really simple, smelling and hearing are the 2 that are the most tied to your emotions. So the other ones are still really important. But if you want to just pick 2 and focus on those, I would pick a smell and a sound. And the way that you can bring a sound into absolutely anything is, look, we have podcasts. So having a jingle at the beginning and the end and really incorporating that sound throughout your brand. Maybe it plays on your website. Maybe before a video, when you go on Instagram, you play a little bit of it. So you're just constantly showing it to us so that when it just, even a little piece of it plays somewhere else, subconsciously, we are thinking about your brand.
Yeah, I love that so much. And the thing about the smells made me remember when we were trying to sell our last house, we looked up like top 10 ways to make your house smell faster. And it always said like, put fresh coffee on, or like bake some bread, but like put some toast in the toaster. And yeah, that's getting them to feel certain things because of that smell thing. So
yeah, and people don't recognize that that's the thing that's making them feel that way, right? We'll just say, I love the way that smells. So there's a really cool study that basically what they did is they put 2 pairs of Nike sneakers into 2 separate rooms that were absolutely identical sneakers, identical rooms. The only thing that was different, I think I shared this with you before, Jenna, is there was a floral scent pumped into one of the rooms. Now, we process the smell of flowers, specifically like roses, as higher end for some reason, right? This is from the stories from our childhood. And so the people that experienced those 2 rooms, 82% of them said that the shoes that were identical in the floral room, they would pay more for. So just think about that. That was the only difference, was the smell. So we can actually make something more expensive by giving it a scent.
I love that. And what just tweaked in my mind as you said that is that I heard fairly recently that roses are the highest vibration. I don't know if it's in nature or the highest vibrating flower. So in terms of positive energy, like we're all energy, aren't we? And we're all absorbing and we're all affected by the energy around us. So that rose scent, is just.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask you, with marketing, just marketing as a whole, because you're such an expert in it, what would you say is the biggest thing that people are getting wrong at the moment in the industry? Like the average online, I don't know, let's say your average online business owner in the online space, what's the number one thing that the misconception or the thing that they're getting wrong?
Yeah. So I just want to say that I think that people are doing such an incredible job because we have basically been told in the last 5 years, like you have to be everywhere. And that is so overwhelming to most people and certainly overwhelming to me. I refuse to do certain things because my nervous system absolutely couldn't take it after a while. I think what I would say, the biggest mistake that I'm seeing, and I'm helping a lot of my clients when they come to me to get out of that overwhelmed space, is, we're seeing what everyone else is doing. And we talk about comparisonitis and all of that, but we are spending so much time thinking, okay, that's what everyone else is doing, so that's what I'm supposed to do also. And actually, that's the exact opposite of what you are supposed to do. Because if everyone else is doing it, you're just jumping in on the noise. And I just want you to think about that for a second. So what are the brands that stand out for you? And what are the reasons that they do? If you really think about it, it's probably because they're doing something completely different. So why are we trying to replicate what everyone else is doing? I think it's just natural, right? We all have been told since we were very young, just do what everyone else is doing, stand in line, be quiet, all of those things, all of those stories are playing out in our lives, and we are tribal beings, right? So we don't want to. It's scary to be louder and bigger than other people, but actually that's the thing that's going to lead you to success, right? So
100%.
While I don't want to say, completely quit everything you are doing and do everything differently, I want to say, create a really simple system for yourself where you're showing up in just a couple of places, and then zig when they zag, and truly lean into that and be proud of it. Learn what you need to do skill-wise to do that really well. And I promise you, when you are doing that, people are going to go, what the hell is she doing? Or what is he doing? I want more of that. And they won't necessarily know why, because they don't think about it, right? They don't sit back and go, the reason I like her brand is this. but they will just feel more connected to it. And it brings us back to that energy piece again.
It's always the energy, isn't it? And in order to stand out, I love your expression, zig when everyone else is zagging. In order to do that, you need to create internal safety. And that's what I see of you. When I see you on stories, you are so calm and, you lead. So can I ask, have you prioritized the inner work and the mindset piece to enable you to do that? Or how has it been for you?
Absolutely. I think what we realize, every single entrepreneur would say this, for sure you would say this, Jenna, is you're thinking that you're starting a business. That's what you think you're getting yourself into. You're actually going on a personal journey, right? So you can either look that in the face or you can ignore it. But I don't know anyone that's actually been successful when they ignore that. Especially in the online space, because it really is so energy driven. We can't really hide behind products.
Yeah.
We have ourselves as the product.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of figuring it out and pivoting and managing being a mom and all of this stuff. And I'm very open about the fact that before I became a marketing coach, I owned a boutique. I had a brick and mortar boutique. And I had a wholesale jewelry line. So I thought I was like opening up a store and I had a jewelry line, but I was doing everything, right? And then I also had 2 kids at home. And I don't want to belittle nervous breakdowns because it wasn't an actual nervous breakdown, but I was pretty freaking close, right? And from the outside looking in, it was, oh my gosh, she has this beautiful store and she must be doing so well. And I remember people saying like, I don't know how you do it all. And I wanted to cry when people would say that because it was really not what it seemed.
Yeah.
So we sold and I walked away, and it was one of the hardest things I've had to do because I built that, right? But it was the best thing I could have ever done for myself, and giving myself that space and really thinking like, well, what am I going to do now? And really actually choosing what I wanted to do next. And marketing was not necessarily what I was expecting, but I took about 6 months to really say, I'm only going to do something that lights me up. Like, I'm not going to do anything because anyone else thinks I should do that, or I happen to be good at it, right? Like, I don't want to do that. I want to do the thing that makes me happy.
Yeah.
So it's led me to here, and it was through many, many tears and wanting to quit many, many times. And I believe in energy, and I work with energy people, and it matters. Leadership is your business, especially if you're in the online space. Like, this is what we got.
Yeah. It matters so much. And when you can, like you said earlier, about making it simple, and then the piece about doing what lights you up, like that is if you are doing something that lights you up, then you're naturally going to be good at it. Obviously, if you kind of got some inner work to do, you need to do that so that you can really absolutely fly in it too. But just doing something that lights you up means that it's just so fulfilling. And you just get to create something wonderful, having fun, being well paid for it, and just making a deeper impact in the world.
Yep, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of women especially think that that's not enough. Right. I certainly was in that. Like, I had to show people something bigger, and it wasn't enough to just do what I loved. And it took me basically hating what I had created to realize like I deserved to be happy. Yeah. And we don't have to go through that whole mess to find it. But I think a lot of women choose that route because of lots of other internal stories.
Yeah. There's so much. We could talk for hours on this. But I feel we're both in the same, in the sense that we found something that we absolutely love, and we are making a difference in what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
How long have you been doing the marketing, what you're doing at the moment, Katrina?
Yeah, so I've been in this space since 2018. So 4 years. Yeah.
Cool. And what would you say if you were to give yourself some advice? So 4 years is quite a decent amount of time. I'm going to just pick the last year. If you could go back to yourself this time last year and give her some advice, what would you say?
Yeah, I think I would say busy doesn't mean productive. So, that's been kind of an endless journey. I'm a Capricorn and I just like doing things and checking boxes. And I think that's been my hardest lesson because, we think we're controlling so much when we're checking things off a list.
Mm.
And this has been the last year of my life, really learning to let go and maybe let the dishes pile up a little bit, because you're going to be so much more productive when you're doing the things that matter.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's so good. So am I hearing put yourself first?
Oh, yes. Put yourself first. Actually, when you feel a creative burst, lean into that creative burst.
Yeah. Follow your energy, not work because it's Monday, 9 a.m. If you're not feeling like working at Monday, 9 a.m., go out for a walk. Follow what your intuition is telling you, isn't it? And
ooh, I love that. Follow the energy. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I always do this. And it's like the same action can have two very different energies. So for example, Friday night, 9:30 at night, working, making a post or doing whatever, that can have two very different energies. That can be a workaholic. I can't stop working because I need to be visible and I've not put a post out today yet. Or it can look like, oh, I've got a brilliant idea. Like, because I've relaxed today and I've just sort of gone at my own pace, I have this creative burst at 9:30 at night. So I'm happy to just do a little bit of work because we're so lucky as business owners to literally make our own rules. So that's me. Like, you'll often see me at non-traditional working times working, but then I will go and have my nails done, or I'll meet a friend, during like traditional work hours. And for somebody who was teaching like just 2 years ago, I just feel like the luckiest woman alive every single day. And I never forget that. And so, yeah, it's cool to be able to follow my own energy, and it really makes a difference.
It really does. And I think people think that there's that's a luxury to be able to get that, but it's also, and this, I can only say this now after the last year of really trying to listen to myself more. When you do it, there's more spaciousness, right? So then the money comes. But when you're just forcing it all the time, which I'm very good at doing, right? Forcing. And I think a lot of people who have been really productive in their lives, that's just what we've been trained to do.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to come from that angle. Not impossible, but just a lot harder.
Yeah. It's about unlearning, isn't it? All the stuff that we were conditioned with growing up, and even in the corporate space or whatever job you had before becoming a business owner. There's so much to unlearn. I want to touch back on something that you said. You said, oh yeah, busy doesn't mean productive. So what do you do differently now compared to a year ago?
A lot I do differently. So I am very much intentional about my days. I actually have an entire day dedicated to whatever I want to do, which is crazy because before it was like I would just schedule calls back to back to back, and I didn't feel productive unless there was something scheduled on my calendar. So Mondays for me are what I call CEO days. Yeah. And in that day, yes, it's for my business, but it's really, that's the day that I would meet someone for coffee. I would go on a walk. I mean, I still think of those things as for my business, which is completely different, Jenna, than what I was thinking a year ago. Like if I wasn't doing something on my computer, there was no way that you could have tricked me into believing that a walk was going to be productive. Yeah. Right. So that's Mondays. And then Thursdays are an energy day. So I spend that day really going deep on some of my traumas, right. And I have someone who I work with. And so on that day, I don't schedule any calls, which is also completely crazy. So 2 of my days during the week, I literally have no client calls. And I would say that my productivity on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday is way more than it was because I allow myself that space. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't feel like exhausted on a Tuesday and take a little bit of time, but it is like, it's a hard thing to unlearn, but it's worth that space for yourself. It's worth that. I would just say, like you've said the word calm, I would have laughed if you said that to me a year ago. And now I'm like, yes, that totally makes sense because I have really been working on how do I find the calm? And for me, I'm a true introvert. It is with myself. So I've created that space for myself. Yeah.
You're creating internal safety. So that's what you project. Everybody feels that you are calm because you're calm within.
Yes.
And I totally get it. Like I see it with you and for you. And it's because you've done that work. And it's so, so great to see because the value that you're getting in your business is exponentially more than before when you were just hustle, hustle, hustle.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And you were a teacher, like there's no time during the day in our world before we become our own bosses that is okay. Can you imagine as a teacher if you were just like, I'm going to put my feet up for an hour?
Yeah.
No way. I mean, I worked in corporate finance. Everyone has that story. So really finding that space, like it's not a joke. No, I thought people were just saying that stuff. I really did not see how you could get to the other side, but sitting on the other side and still something that I have to work on all the time. It's real.
Yeah. You're just giving yourself permission to do it and allowing it to be easy. Like you're doing the work so that it is easy. And like we said before, everything is energy. So when you are in a good place, you're obviously vibrating higher than before. So you're getting back the reflection of that. And so you're literally allowing your business to be easier because you are in a good place. And most of our communication, like we said right at the beginning of the episode, is most of our communication is non-verbal. So we are subconsciously reading people's energy all the time. So this is why it's so important to be in that really good place yourself. So that when you show up on stories or show up in your marketing, even just with the choice of words that you use and the tone that you say things, like everything matters. And you cannot trick your viewers because we're always reading each other's nonverbal communication. Like they'll just feel it if you're, trying to fake feeling high vibe or whatever, So yeah, it's the energy piece. It always comes down to the energy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I love this too, because it really is the subconscious element. Jenna, you've really helped me to get a little bit of the words around why energy plays into marketing. And it really does. I mean, it plays into absolutely everything. Energy is everything, but it kind of makes it more fun to talk about it as like, what if we thought of marketing as energy?
Yeah. It's completely it, because we all have those people that we search for on stories and go and watch, or the ones that we just don't even click on. It's down to energy and how they make you feel when you're watching or listening. So okay, with that in mind, what would you tell people? Like if I was to ask you to give some inspired action to the listeners now, like something to take away from this episode based on marketing and how they're showing up for themselves and for their audience, what would you like to share?
Yeah. So actionable. I think what we said about how you make people feel is so much more important than we give it credit for. So someone asked me this question a couple of days ago. How do you have energy when you show up for group calls, for example? And you do have to bring a certain kind of energy to those calls because you don't want it to be kind of this like sad, mopey feeling, right? Yeah. So it's your responsibility to show up with a different kind of light, and then people will raise to it. Yeah. So it's the same thing within your marketing. If you want to be showing up and you want people to feel excited about what it is that you are saying, you have to bring that excitement. So something actionable and something I actually do is listen to a soundtrack that pumps you up before you get on stories. So for me, it is the Hamilton soundtrack. I don't know what it is, but I can't not move my body. And it feels so silly, but I have headphones on. I do it for a couple minutes and then I can't help but smile, right? So do that for yourself. Give yourself that gift and put yourself in the mood that you want people to be in when they hear you. And I promise you, if you stick to that, more people are going to watch your stories. You will see.
Yeah. Yeah, down to the energy.
Yep.
And you're so right. The first thing you said about how the people in front of you, how you want them to feel, you need to lead that, because that's like lesson 101 when you learn to become a teacher. Like, your energy leads the room. If you can't be excited about what you're teaching, well, don't expect your class to be. And so, yeah, it's just so, and like, obviously moody teenagers are a lot harder to engage and inspire and excite than adults who are following you for a reason. So that's so cool. I love that. Brilliant. Can you please share, Katrina, where can people find you and what's the next step for people to take?
Cool. So if neuromarketing is interesting, you want to learn more about that, I'm going to share a link with you, Jenna. If you want to drop that in the show notes, if that works, you can grab it. It's free. It is 3 neuromarketing techniques that you can take. The senses is one of them, but I actually go through how you can build it into your business. And it doesn't matter if you are service, product, it doesn't matter. Every single person can use at least one of the strategies in there. And I love connecting with people on Instagram. That's my favorite, to be able to DM with you or whatever. So I am at Katrina Aronson _consulting. And I'll also share that with you, Jenna.
Brilliant. I can't wait to grab the freebie myself. It sounds so good. So yeah, I will pop that in the show notes for you. And also obviously Katrina's Instagram handle. Thank you so much for joining us today, Katrina. And it's been a pleasure sharing you with my audience.
Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
You're welcome. If you wanted to register for the Hustle-Free Abundance Masterclass, but you're a bit of a rebel like me and went straight into listening to the episode, then I would have done exactly the same thing. So here is your reminder. Click the link in the show notes and register your place in this Thursday's live masterclass on how to 10x your business and well-being without working harder and without implementing more strategy. We're talking about hustle-free abundance. It's fun and it's just so different, an absolute game changer. It's at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And if you know you can't make it live, just register still and I will send you the replay straight to your inbox. I'm so excited to bring this to you. It's the exact process that I teach my clients. And it's just an absolute game changer for effortless results and for you to be able to access far more mental and emotional freedom and joy in your business. See you then.